Let's talk about love and romance. This week we have some incredibly beautiful energy in the sky, and I want to guide you guys on how to access it. Because, of course, like every week, there are also some challenges. So let's talk about the good news first. We started off the week actually yesterday. I'm filming this on Monday. I had a very busy weekend. So this aspect that we had yesterday involves a real acceptance of our past when it comes to love and relationships. This includes our relationship with friends. It includes our relationship to society. Because we have all of these retrogrades going on right now, particularly Mercury in retrograde, Saturn, Neptune, and Pluto in retrograde, all the outer planets, there is a gift in looking at the past. Now, there's a caveat to this. We don't want to collapse into the past. The past is only there for reference, to remember what we've learned. The past is there for us to deduce why we're in the patterns that we're in now. My clients and I work a lot with going into past memories, specifically in childhood, and changing those memories with creative imagination. This week, we have an invitation in the cosmic weather to actually do this, specifically when it comes to memories we have around possibly being rejected, memories we have around making mistakes in our relationships that brought us shame or guilt. If you take the time to go with those nudges, right? Because you're having them, and maybe it's something that you don't want to look at. I want to encourage you to move past that initial resistance and really take a look. You're not going to get lost because there's information in the past, you guys. There's information in these scenarios, in the choices that you made and how you allowed yourself to be treated or how you treated others, that is so useful this week as we move into August. Why I'm saying that is because as we move into August, the two beautiful positive planets in the sky, Venus and Jupiter, move into an alignment in the first half of August. This means that we can actually change our relationships with others and with ourselves for the better in such powerful ways. We can change the way we communicate, but those changes have to have a foundation on what we don't want to repeat, you see? So this is why looking at the past as it comes up at the beginning of the week is so important. It's a part of the pathway we're going to make when this Venus-Jupiter conjunction gives us all of this wonderful, juicy space to actually start creating relationship and interaction based on what we truly want, based on our true value and worth. So the negative parts of this week, right? And I when I say negative, I mean the parts that we may not want to look at, right? There are challenging aspects that Venus is going to be encountering. This looking at the past is going to bring up challenges where you have created structures, and this is why I've been going on around, like, what are the false roles you're playing? Because Venus is going to be having a conversation with the planet Saturn, and Saturn is in retrograde in the sign of Aries in Western astrology. This is a deconstruction of your ego, a deconstruction of these false roles. And so if you haven't been working on them, Saturn may come in and just bust them up. Anyway, this is why I've been talking about, get ahead of the cosmic weather. This is where it's so useful for us. So Venus is also going to be making a difficult aspect with the planet Neptune, which is also in the sign of Aries, which is also in retrograde conjuncting Saturn. So this is also saying where you've been delusional, where you've been lying to yourself and to others. This also is getting reviewed, reconstructed. If you are willing to look at your part in conflicts, in what you would consider a relationship failure, because in reality, there are no failures in relationships. There are lessons. And if you learn that lesson that relationship was supposed to teach you, how could that possibly be a failure? Not everyone is meant to be in our life forever. Some people, they're only supposed to be in your life for a moment. So this is a time when we are releasing the shame and guilt around our past decisions and how we've been in relationship, maybe the lack of integrity we've experienced. I just also want to say, you may not have had a good example of how to relate. You may not have had a good example of what a loving relationship looks like. You have to define that for yourself. And this week is a perfect time to do that with these planets having these conversations. It's going to evoke action in you. So something interesting going on. Mars, the planet of action, has been in the sign of Virgo. In Western astrology, Virgo is the perfectionist. So there's an element to all of this where we may be being really, really hard on ourselves. There's no such thing as perfection. And yet, all is perfection because it is as it is, right? There is a fine line between constantly working on self-improvement and distracting yourself from really sinking into how you truly feel. This week, I want to encourage you to find a balance. Yes, there are things to work on specifically around relationships, how we relate to ourselves, how we define what is beautiful, how we are approaching the creativity that is going to move us towards the fruition of our dreams. This takes a lot of maturity, you guys, this week. But I promise you, if you do the work and look unflinchingly at your part in relationships that haven't worked, in moments that have been unresolved, in ghostings and rejections, and maybe workplace dramas, getting fired, projects not working out, in how critical you've been of yourself, your body, how critical you've been of others. If you take the time to do that egoless work, to see where you have been at fault, where you have made mistakes, and then you put those in your backpack and you say, okay, I've learned from this, and there's something else I want. And I know what not to do. Gosh, you guys, knowing what not to do is sometimes more powerful than knowing what to do, because, we're all carving the relationship path in front of us. There is no lantern. There's no one with a guide light. We're doing that ourselves. And yet I also want to say there are so many benevolent forces watching over humanity, watching for us, hoping for us to level up. And you can't really level up in relationship unless you're leveling up in relationship with yourself. And that means letting go of the perfectionism and accepting yourself for who you are and the mistakes that you've made and the flaws that you have and the weaknesses. All of this becomes who you are, that unique blueprint of your soul, of your personality, of your journey here in this lifetime. If you want to get deeper with me, because y'all know I like to go deep, I'm heading over to patreon.com, where I'm going to get into more of the astrology. I'm going to pull an animal totem for us, a mineral totem for us, mineral spirit, and a plant spirit for us this week as we navigate this really wonderful energy. If you are watching here on Instagram, there is a subscriber section where I give 3 posts a week, more videos like this, maybe some cute photos of my life and what's going on. And of course, if you are interested in a private session, there is a wait list. I work with clients one-on-one. And that wait list, you can add your name to it by emailing me at info@thegoodwoo.org. Have a great week, everyone.